last time on Dragon Ball Z.
After that, we get to Vu Bui talking to us about... Who is that?
I am Steve.
Well, I guess we can't talk about the future of Minecraft without going over a certain something coming to theaters presumably near you. So before we continue talking about Minecraft Live, let's talk about the teaser trailer for a Minecraft movie. For a long time, a Minecraft movie of some sort was in production, undergoing various changes as its long and torturous production history went on. People kinda knew this was going to be a thing at some point or another, but they didn't really know what it would actually be like since there was no trailer or anything. Just some plot premises and other details which mostly became irrelevant because they were changed over time. One detail that was introduced some years ago and remained, however, was the fact that this film would be live action. A number of people, namely me, wondered how exactly they would handle the concept of a live-action Minecraft movie. How would it work? Would it look good? Would it look bad? Why were they doing this as opposed to making an animated film? What's the purpose? Well, eventually we got at least some answers when the trailer came out, and, suffice to say, people were not the most pleased. There were some on the defense, but the offense nonetheless greatly outnumbered them. The prevailing attitude here is pretty clear, but what do I think of the trailer? Well, let's talk about it. In terms of visuals, I think the landscape doesn't look too bad. I'm not sure how I feel about all of it, but generally speaking it kind of looks alright for a pseudo-realistic Minecraft world. However, in terms of those that inhabit this landscape... Yeah. People had a lot to say about this. Apparently some of the mob designs were leaked sometime before the trailer released, though some people were unsure if this was how they would actually look in the film or if this was just concept stuff. Well, now we know, and it's ugly Sonic vibes all over again. Speaking of which, some people want Warner Bros. To fix the mobs just like how Paramount fixed Sonic, but others cast doubt that this will come to be. Guess we might be stuck with them. To be fair, some of the mob designs don't look that bad. I think when it comes to the piglins, even if they are kind of ugly, it kind of works in the context of what kind of characters they are. Not entirely sure how I feel about the ghasts though, since, well, they're supposed to be ghosts, yet here they look kind of more fleshy than ghosty, or whatever the term is, you know. So yeah, these mob designs were kinda uncanny valley and people didn't necessarily like that. I personally have mixed feelings regarding the mob designs, but I get what people mean when they say they find them rather detestable. Anyways, let's talk about the human cast. We certainly do have a bit of a weird wardrobe here, particularly in Aquaman's case. As for Steve, he's basically just Jack Black wearing a blue shirt. And also jeans, I think, but we don't see a lot of that in the trailer. Now, the clothing choices are not really that different from how Steve is in the game, but the same can't necessarily be said for Jack Black's personal appearance. The Steve skin has had some different variants over the years, so maybe this could be justified in such a fashion. However, the changes the skin has undergone are relatively subtle, whilst movie Steve is a much more radical departure from the original thing. Bearing this in mind, the aforementioned explanation might be less than satisfactory for a number of people. I'm guessing Warner Bros. Or Mojang or whoever is just expecting Jack Black being Jack Black to even things out somehow. Whether this will end up getting 2023 Mario movie results or 2024 Borderlands movie results is something the world is yet to find out. Anyways, enough about Steve Black. Let's talk about the props, I guess. The main complaints about the props from what I know are that the proportions don't seem right all the time and that some of them just don't look like things from actual Minecraft. In terms of the proportions of things, I feel like the easy justification the movie has for that is simply that things need to work for the live action aspect of stuff. It doesn't necessarily justify every sizing decision, but you know, it is what it is. As for the game accuracy complaints, most of that seems to center around this peculiar chained buckets thing, and yeah, what is that? Hey, what? It's me from the future. Just want to let you know that we sort of come back to this later in the video. Anyways, bye. Anyways, I guess we could move on to the dialogue? Okay. There's not too much said in this teaser alone, but what was said was apparently enough for people to have issues with. Basically, people complained that the dialogue was cringy and cliche and stuff like that. I myself am a bit confused with some of the choices made here. Like,
this guy is such a tool bag.
what does that even mean? I'm guessing a portion of these lines are going to be justified as being comedic or a joke or whatever, and in some cases, well, fine, but it's not gonna work every time. Just because something is presented in a humorous manner doesn't mean it's automatically funny. Again, we don't ultimately know how all this is going to turn out, but my point still stands. In regards to the line, you know the one, I think there isn't a lot that hasn't already been said about it. We all know that it's pretty much the most mematic thing in this trailer and all that, alongside the ugly Sonic sheep and llama, of course. It does seem kind of awkward, but then again, I think it's supposed to be intentionally presented that way as the bit or whatever, but then again, you could apply my previous statements about comedy and stuff like that to this, you know, if you want. I don't know. To be honest, I'm not really sure I'm bothered by it as much as some other people are, but maybe that's because I've seen worse things, or heard worse things rather. I don't know, maybe I've just become emotionally numb to the point where nothing really bothers me that much. I mean, I don't know about everything, but you know. Anyways, I think I've said enough about all that. Let's talk about the movie's premise. So in the description of the Warner Bros. Upload of the teaser, a summary of the film's story is laid out. It briefly explains who the characters are, how they get into the Minecraft world, some of the stuff they're gonna do, things like that. A major complaint people have with this plot is that it's basically a Jumanji clone. You know, going into the game world and all that. I think the broader term for what this is would be isekai, which is the scenario where characters go from one world to another, but a lot of people specifically compare this film to Jumanji because of the video game setting and also Jack Black's inclusion. I get why some people are not really the most fond of this approach, because this premise has kind of been done to death in recent times, though in this instance I kind of think it's one of the only options which somewhat justifies the live-action aspect of the movie. By establishing that the people come from the real world, it sort of makes sense why they look the way they do. Other approaches to a live-action Minecraft film I'm not sure would provide enough justification for the live-action aspect, since if there's no connection to the real world or anything like that, then why not just make the entire thing animated? And here's where I get to an issue people seem to have above all with this film. The fact that it's a live-action movie, even though animation would arguably make more sense. Do I agree? Well, yeah, kinda. Not only would animation allow for more story options and not really need to justify being the medium it is, but it would also not have to deal with issues like the ugly Sonic sheep. I'm not necessarily saying that live-action Minecraft productions are a bad idea per se. I actually watched a fan-made live-action Minecraft short film which was honestly pretty good. It didn't even directly invoke an isekai plot of any sort. Of course, this short film probably had more liberties because it's more of a cute art project rather than a Hollywood big-screen adaptation. When it comes to an official Minecraft feature film, people probably have more expectations regarding certain things. In this instance, live action is kind of a burden because not only does it demand things need to be a mix of the source material's aesthetic and pseudo-realism, but it also warrants an explanation as to why it's live action in the first place. With animation, more stylistic creativity is allowed, and there's not as much need to explain certain things. Some people have suggested that the whole film should have just been made by Element Animation, and yeah, I'd watch that if it were a thing. However, we have what we have, whether we prefer it or not, and I think I ought to judge this film based on what it is rather than what I might rather it be. And when it comes to that, Huh? There's a new trailer already? Come on, I was just about to... Well, this is what I get for having lousy time management, I suppose. I'll talk about the second trailer later in the video. For now, let's try to finish going over Minecraft Live. So after a transition segment, we get to Vu Bui talking to us about— wait, what, seriously? I thought we were going to take a break from this. Okay, whatever. Might as well see what has to be said here. So Vu says a bunch of words and then we move to a mini documentary spot, featuring behind-the-scenes production footage and an interview between Torfi Franz Olafsson, producer of the film and creative director of entertainment at Mojang, and Jared Hess, the director of Napoleon Dynamite. Oh, and also this film, I guess. In this segment, they talk about a lot of stuff, one thing being why they chose to make the film live action instead of animation. Because it's different. Well, it's not that different actually, because I literally talked about a fan-made live-action Minecraft short film a bit ago. However, Torfi specifies,
It's not something that's been seen before on this scale.
so there's that, I guess. Then again, in terms of Minecraft stuff, animation technically hasn't been seen on this scale either. Making an animated feature film is still a big opportunity here, Mojang. But whatever, I digress. So they talk about how they got production designer Grant Major and special effects company Weta, both of whom worked on the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and how they all have a personal relationship with Minecraft. Kind of an ambiguous statement, considering personal relationship could mean anything from avid player of the game to just merely being aware of the game's existence to a certain extent, but okay. Also, Mr. Hess wishes to clarify that this is a Minecraft movie, not the Minecraft movie. It's an official production approved by and associated with Mojang and Microsoft, but it doesn't necessarily set out to be the definitive cinematic interpretation of the franchise. So I guess theoretically we could get an animated movie too at some point? Who knows, really? Anyways, the "Who are you?" kid, who is also named Henry, is apparently supposed to represent modders. Insert snarky joke about Mojang screwing over the modding community in one fashion or another or something, I don't know. Also, Steve isn't considered an actually defined character by Mojang, so in that light they justify Steve Black. Fair enough, I guess. I don't know what other people think of that reasoning, but I suppose it kind of makes sense. Anyways, another thing we get to see is a longer version of the clip in the teaser where there's the weird buckets thing, and, well, do they explain it? Well, no. Not entirely, at least. They seem to suggest that it's some wacky result of Aquaman not knowing the proper recipes and stuff, which also seems to suggest that the way crafting works in the movie is slightly different from how it works in the game. Basically, instead of being limited to predefined recipes, there's an infinite amount of possible combinations and outcomes. I suppose that's somewhat interesting. Not entirely sure what it's all supposed to mean, though maybe in some fashion or another it connects to the "Who are you?" kid representing modders. I don't know, really. In any case, I've got to take care of something real quick. Be right back. As for the game accuracy complaints, most of that seems to center around this peculiar chained buckets thing, and yeah, what is that? Hey, what? It's me, your dry skin. Alright, now let's finish this up. So another thing they address are the proportions of stuff in the world, which, like I've said before, are basically the way they are, so they work for the human cast. However, they also say they wanted to honor powers of two because of programmers and stuff. Cool, I guess. Anyways, I think we've said enough for this section, so let's move forward. Bye, Vu. Transition segment. Hey, Lydia. Hi, Olivier. Hey, babe. What if we kissed in the Minecraft room? Just kidding. Unless? Oh, hi, Sarah. Bye, Sarah. Welcome back, Agnes. So Agnes finally tells us about the cool new stuff she teased earlier, which includes a spooky scary desaturated forest called the Pale Garden and a spooky scary tree mob called the Creaking. We hear some info from Jasper, Sandra, and Nembone regarding what the mob does in the game, as well as some of the development stuff behind it. Basically, the way this new mob works is that it only moves when the player is not observing it.
So, don't blink.
Don't even blink. Blink and you're dead.
It's also established that this mob is a puppet of sorts, being operated by a block called the Creaking Heart. Destroy the heart and you'll defeat the mob. The people I mentioned earlier then talk about how they made the stuff for this new drop and how they wanted to give it a horror-esque aesthetic. Kind of interesting stuff here. Go watch it on the official channel if you want to learn more. So anyways, overall, the mob is cool, the biome is cool, and the stuff overall is cool, I guess. Let's keep on moving.
Villager number 9 here!
Oh yeah, here's the ending of the villager news segment from earlier. I won't go too in depth with it because I still want you to watch it for yourself in case you haven't already, but I will say that basically the plot of this is related to the new stuff we just discussed. Go watch the full thing, it's good. And go check out Element Animation's channel, they're good. Alright, moving on. So Lydia talks about the after show, which showcases the creaking and pale garden stuff, and says goodbye. Bye, Lydia. Okay, so that's over. But wait a minute, doesn't it feel like something was missing? I wonder what— oh, I see. Well, I guess I won't have to make any more videos about that for the foreseeable future. Alright then, so what now?
I am Steve.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Well, actually I didn't because I have the script right here, but you get what I'm doing, right?
Minecraft trailer, take 2.
Hold up, we already did this bit. So yeah, wouldn't you know it? Just when I thought this video would get done somewhat sooner, a second Minecraft movie trailer shows up on the horizon, and now I have to talk about that one too. Isn't that wonderful? Doesn't that make you feel so good inside? Don't you just wanna— okay, well, let's not get carried away here. If we can get through this quickly enough, then maybe it'll be alright. Okay then, so let's talk about the new non-teaser trailer of a Minecraft movie. So the first trailer, the teaser, was so infamous that it seemed to wreck any hope most people had for this film. However, a few things happened since then which somewhat altered public perception. One thing was the segment on Minecraft Live which showed behind the scenes stuff as well as the full version of the weird buckets thing scene, which seemed to pique some people's interest. On a later day, another behind the scenes video was made, which fleshed out things even more. The day after that video, the official non-teaser trailer for a Minecraft movie dropped, and the reception to this trailer appears to be overwhelmingly more positive. There were still some on the offense, but the defense now seems to greatly outnumber them. The prevailing attitude here is pretty clear, but what exactly caused this change of attitude from the people? What changed? Is the movie really redeemed? Let's find out, shall we? So in this trailer, we see Steve's backstory.
As a child, I yearned for the mines.
No, that can't be it, right? Could a movie really be saved just by making a meme reference? What do you think? Is that possible? Let me know in the comments if you'd like. Don't have to, of course. Anyways, we also learned that this weird hypercube thing, or whatever it is, transported Steve and the other characters into the world of Minecraft. And we see some footage that we've previously seen, as well as new footage showcasing new things. The old footage seems to have somewhat different lighting and saturation in this new trailer, giving off a slightly different vibe. Not only that, but it's been pointed out that there are some subtle visual touch-ups here and there as well. Details such as particular aspects of the environment as well as the appearances of the mobs have been slightly altered in order to feel more real. There might be some people who say that this is Warner Bros. Pulling a Sonic. However, there are others who have pointed out that this could actually be a result of the shots in the teaser being unfinished versions of the shots as they appear in the trailer, rather than shots that were changed as a result of backlash. Either way, it seems that people see the new versions of the shots as an improvement. As for the new footage in the new trailer, we got to see more mobs, blocks, items, and other stuff in the movie's style. Though perhaps some designs were seen as a bit weird, they were overall considered much more welcome by Minecraft fans. The chicken in particular looks almost identical to how it is in-game. Yet oddly, there were still some people who got mad about it. I guess everyone's entitled to their opinion. Some people had some doubts about the zombie and skeleton designs. In the skeleton's case, people critiqued the fact that the behind-the-scenes video showed it having a sword instead of a bow. However, the skeleton had a bow in the trailer, and it's been established that skeletons can pick up swords in games, so this ultimately was kind of a nothing burger criticism. As for the zombie, people were basically saying it was ugly, but we all know what the real problem here is. Anyways, let's talk about other stuff I mentioned earlier, like blocks. We get to see stuff like ores and redstone contraptions and other things, and they look pretty neat, honestly. Some people have said that the lava chicken farm doesn't accurately reflect in-game mechanics, but we've kind of already established that this movie doesn't follow those to a T, so I don't know if I should care or not. In terms of items, we get to see stuff like the elytra and the ender pearl, and they look alright. There's also a gun? Are they gonna shoot someone? Is someone gonna die? The scenery is neat, I guess. Not too different from before, but it's pretty alright all the same. Slightly better than the teaser, I suppose. The dialogue in this trailer is still kind of cliché to an extent.
This place makes no sense.
Don't I know it?
Great. Now it's dark.
That feel quick to anyone else?
Some other lines, though, are okay, I guess. I guess it's somewhat improved, but maybe only on the basis of showing that not every line is necessarily super awkward. However, it should be noted that even if lines people complained about before are not in this trailer, they're probably still in the film. And that goes for stuff in general, too. Just because particular elements of the teaser are not in this trailer, it doesn't mean they're removed from the final product. Perhaps either some touch-ups or some surrounding context will make the moments not as bad, but we don't know until we get there. Overall, this trailer is more appealing than the teaser, partly because it showcases the better sides of I am not Steve. Thank you for your unlicensed assistance. A complimentary chimichanga will be sent to your residence. Anyways, hello. We have decided to take over this video because the creator was taking way too long to finish it. Since he did not get to every point he wanted to get to in this video, we will be dividing this into 3 parts now. Hopefully the creator will recover from the blow so he can deliver the 3rd part in a decent amount of time. In the meantime, thank you for watching this video. First off, the final point he was trying to make was that although the new trailer was superior to the old one, we still need to be cautious about our verdicts as the final product is not yet out. Additionally, a note in the first part of the video essay said that we should address the fact that the tube drops are out, or at least one. Well, 2 of them are out, but it only mentioned the one of them because, yeah, but anyway, yeah, both the bundles of bravery and, the other one, the Garden Awakens, and that's kind of a stupid name, honestly. Well, they could have done better than that, come on. Those are both out. And those will be talked about more in length in the 3rd part. Yeah. I mean, you probably already knew that, but, whatever. Okay, let's cut the credits. Let's make sure we have the music in there. Yeah, see ya.
Here's how it works. You place these elements in different patterns